Okay, let's take a look at some trig limits here. Our first one is tan theta over theta. The only interesting limits we know really is sine theta over theta. That's the most popular one. So let's see if we can get that in that form. So therefore, I'm going to change this into sines and cosines. So I'm going to rewrite this as the sine of theta over cosine of theta. I pretend that this is a division symbol divided by theta. So since it's a fraction divided by, this is quote unquote a fraction, this fraction is going to get multiplied by the reciprocal of this one. So this is sine of theta over cosine of theta times the reciprocal of the denominator. I'm just going to make this one fraction. I'm going to put the theta up front for obvious reasons. Hopefully you see. And what's convenient about this right here? Well, what's sine theta over theta as theta goes to 0? 1. So this limit is 1. If I plug in 0 here, I get 1. So therefore, my limit is 1. Okay, only one more. Again, tan theta, don't really know a whole lot about it. But if I can change tan into sine, and as a consequence, I'll end up working with cosine, that's okay. Because cosine of 0 is 1, that's not a problem. It's the sine, that's the problem. Okay, so now let's pretend that this is a big division bar. So therefore sine 3 theta divided by this fraction here. So we just take this and flip and multiply by this one here. So flip and multiply. I could make this one big fraction, but it doesn't really help me. What you're trying to do in these trig limit problems is try to get the sine of theta over theta, or the reciprocal. So the way I handle that is I just write all three of these terms as 3 separate fractions, where I always put the cosine one out of the way. Because cosine again, the cosine of 0 is 1. That's not really an issue. It's the sine of 0 which just gives you an issue. So if I can have this be the sine of 3 theta over 3 theta, I'd be in great shape. 5 theta over sine of 5 theta, good shape. So let's just start off by putting a theta in. Now that's on my road to having sine of theta over theta, or the reciprocal. And I've also used the property of 1, so I haven't changed the problem, I just changed the way it looks. So now if I have a 3 down here, now this limit right here is equal to 1, but I have to use the property of 1, so I'm going to put a 3 up in the top, so therefore this is the property of 1. Those two cancel if necessary. And again, if I have a 5 theta here, now this limit right here is equal to 1. I need to balance that by having a 5 down in the denominator. So now I have 3/5. This limit is 1. This limit is 1. Plug in 0, I get the cosine of 0, which is 1. So this is 1. So I have 3/5 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is 3/5. And that's it.